that. With that, just a quick introduction about Freshworks itself. And can we go to the next slide? Yeah, cool. Freshworks started as a really small company with 4-5 people in 2010 in a city called Chennai in India. But now we're a global company with last we were valued at about $3.5 billion. We raised about 300. We have a run rate of about $300 million currently with more than 50,000 customers, and this is also growing rapidly. We grow at around 40% year on year. We have 3,500 employees, and we're an award-winning customer support, sales and marketing suite of products. So now the reason I talked about Freshworks itself is that in the last 10 years, we've had this incredible journey of really having just a few customers and then going to tens of thousands of customers. And this means that we had to get our customer support journey and our customer support experience absolutely perfect. And Chuck has seen the journey. He's been part of the journey. He's been in the trenches, setting things up, especially from a customer support point of view over the last 7 years. So he's going to share all those insights with you today in the next few minutes. Again, if you have questions, feel free to type that into the Q&A box. We'll also we'll take all the questions towards the end of the session. Chuck, over to you.
Hey, thanks, Jay. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining this webinar, and hope you're all staying safe. Let me share my screen so that we can get started. Okay, I hope you're all able to see my screen here. Yes? Hey, Jay, can you confirm if you're able to see the screen, the deck?
Yeah, we can see the screen.
Okay, great. Thank you. Okay, thanks for the introduction, Jay. Again, my name is Chakravarti Srinivasan, and I go by the name Chuck here in Freshworks, and I head the customer support division. I'd like to start off with some context, right, on our growth and the scale at which we operate. Freshworks as a company, right, has always been in a rapid growth phase, right? So being a multi-product company, our customer base has been increasing rapidly over the years, along with our evolving product lines. So if you see at the bottom, right, we've kept on adding products as we scale, right? So this increase in customer base had a direct impact on our support volumes every year. So this year, we are projecting to handle a volume of close to 0.7 million. So our support organization has grown linearly over the years, and we are now a 250 plus member team operating out of Chennai. We've come a long way. So when we started, right, we were just a small bunch of passionate people who got a kick out of helping others. We had no prior experience in scaling a team this big, and we have learned quite a lot over the years as we grew, mostly by trial and error method, right? So when I look back at this journey of a decade with Freshworks, right, I see them in 3 stages, right, which is a startup phase, a growth phase, and a scale-up phase, right? So today, I would like to share with you all some lessons that we learned from scaling our support organization. Stage 1 is startup, where it all began, right? So we are going to talk through our support journey from the year 2010 to 2014. So in 2010, we launched our first product, Freshdesk, right? And questions started to pour in from our early customers, and we had to make a decision, right? Should we hire a person for customer support, right? And our CEO, Girish, strongly believes that support is everybody's business, and prompted all our founding members to work on support. So we were all hands on deck, and this allowed us to get closer to our customers, which in turn helped us stay on track and build features and solve problems, real problems for our customers. Our quality analyst, named Vijay, was doing most of the heavy lifting at the time, and was also doubling up as a support and a pre-sales person. So this is how our support journey actually started in Freshworks. So So if you're an early stage startup or have a new product idea, right, please do not think about hiring a support person yet. Founding team can be all hands on support. And at this stage, right, email was the only channel of support offering we were offering to our customers. So we used our own product, Freshdesk, and our support instance was set up to fetch emails from the support mailbox and create them as a ticket. Right? We still use the same instance, which has ever since been our system of records and source of truth for anything customer. So this is how it started, and we were steadily adding customers, and we had reached the mark of our first 100 customers in less than 100 days. Soon we realized it was getting a little too overwhelming for our developers to stay on top of customer responses, and we badly needed a dedicated person to take care of support. So which led to us hiring our first support person. So what we looked for in our first hire was, a strong self-learning individual who's willing to learn on the go, who can walk up to people and get things done, and above all, right, someone with high levels of ownership who gets a kick out of helping people. So we became a one-member team, and the only metric that mattered to us in this startup phase, was CSAT. Right? We sent out a simple CSAT survey for every ticket closure, and the CSAT comments, right, once we started receiving them, turned out to be a gold mine of information during our initial stages of product lifecycle. And also, our priority at this stage was to just get to the queue and respond to the customers within 24 hours of reach out. So this was one of our pet projects, right? So we built a web page called Smiles, where we tracked and displayed our CSAT scores to the entire company, right? And this helped bring visibility on what our customers were feeling about our products and services. And it also brought in some sense of urgency, right, to fix things that are painful and broken for our customers. When we started, we were around, a CSAT percentage of 40% of CSAT. But, over the years, right, so we have evolved, and our CSAT score today stands at north of 90%. So what we learned, right? So when you start off, you don't have to necessarily support customers through all channels. So email is a good enough channel to start off with. So ditch your shared inbox for a help desk suite, right, which will act as a system of record to keep a track of your incoming inquiries or tickets. Use autoresponder to set expectations with customers on when to expect a response. And measuring CSAT after every resolution, right, can put us on the journey towards delivering a better service. And also act on the feedback you receive, experiment with the suggestions and criticisms that your customers share. So now that was our startup phase, right? And I would then move on to the next stage of our support journey we call the growth phase, right? So this stage covers our journey from the year 2014 to 2018. In 2014, our support team had slowly scaled to around, a 10 to 15 member team. And, we were seeing increase in volumes as well. So at this stage, right, the first thing we did was, as we started acquiring customers across different countries, we soon realized we had to provide coverage during our customers' time zone. So we started offering 24/5 coverage operating out of India with shifts. And in the same year, we also extended our channels of communication with our customers, and we started off with the phone channel. We published our numbers on website, right? Our support number. We used our Freshcaller product, and soon we started seeing volumes coming in. And gradually in 2015, right, after a lot of deliberation, we then decided we'll open up chat as a channel of support for our customers. So we offered the chat with this option from within our products, right, to make it easy for our customers to reach out to support for help, because they did not have to move to an email, or they did not have to go to a support port, and it was right within the products. This was a major shift in our customer engagement strategy, as it helped bring down the resolution times and also increase engagement. So to give you some numbers, right, the average resolution time on chats is less than 45 minutes for us when compared to email, where it takes around 24 to 48 hours for resolution because it's asynchronous. We send a reply, we wait for the customer to come back. And it takes a while, right, to get confirmation and get the ticket closed. So our support experience shifted from a traditional non-conversational ticketing experience to a conversational messaging experience, right? And it was evident, right? We were hesitant to start with, but it was evident for us over a period of time that chat as a support channel was received very well by our customers. And over the years, right, had slowly overtaken the traditional email channel. As of today, close to 60% of our entire volume is driven by chats, and our CSATs on chats are currently around 96%. So if you're looking to expand your channels of support, right, if I had to redo this, I would have started with chat, right? There are many modern chat tools available that also have a basic knowledge-based functionality plugged in. So we use Freshchat, which is also a product, and it gives you the flexibility of offering instant help based on your hours of support availability, right? And outside of your support operational hours, you can fall back to an away experience where you can set expectation with the customers on your hours of availability of support. And you can seamlessly fall back to a ticket create workflow so that your support team can reply as a ticket. So that's about coverage and channels. And then during this growth phase, we relied heavily on automations to eliminate maximum human effort possible. So automations was a savior, and it helped us and is still helping us hold everything together. Again, we use Freshdesk, and we primarily make use of automations within Freshdesk to achieve a better routing mechanism, which in turn reduces the bumping of tickets between different queues like sales, pre-sales, support, right? Billing. And also we make sure the right agent works on the ticket because it also has the functionality called skill-based assignment, where you can assign a specific skill to an agent and the ticket would get routed accordingly. So what we saw was with automations, it drastically reduced the time the ticket would lie unattended in the support queue, waiting for agents to pick it up manually. This helped us address the cherry picking issues as well, and drastically improved our response times. Since we're an omni-channel support, we use channel-based automations to distribute volumes across different tickets, across tickets, chats, and phone channels. Moving on to KPIs, right? Up until 2015, we were primarily focusing on just two metrics. One was ticket volume, and the second one was customer satisfaction rate. But as the team grew, we felt we had to start looking at few additional KPIs to drive efficiency and also improve our CSAT scores. So we started focusing on response metrics like average first response time, average response times, along with CSAT. Operationally, we started tracking aging tickets, like tickets crossing 8+ and 15+ conversations to bring them to closure. We started generating weekly and monthly productivity reports for the team so that they can track performance as well. So looking at patterns, right, and inferences from these reports made us realize we had to invest in operations. So we set up basic operational processes like a hiring forecast, where we moved out of hire when there is a need to a proactive hiring model, where we forecasted the support volume and arrived at headcount for the year. Right. This also helped us plan ramp times for new agents and bring in training processes. We had to plan for staffing across channels based on inflow. So initially, people took weekly turns in chats and calls and email schedules. But as we scaled, right, we had to move to a structured model with rosters for channels and also for coverage. So, this was one big piece, because if you have to help your customers in an efficient way, we have to make sure our operations are in place, where you hire accordingly and you staff accordingly to deliver that experience for your customer. And as the team grew, right, we realized we also had to invest in tools and also processes. So we implemented, tools to streamline communication, within support and across teams to always keep information on trending issues flowing. And we also used, arcade and leaderboard functionality within Freshdesk to create healthy competition within the team, so that they can start tracking who's performing better than others and so on. We also focused on documentation because once you become a 30 or 40 member team, right, most of the knowledge within support remains as tribal knowledge, and it creates huge dependencies with individuals, causing single point of failure for our customers. So as leaders, it's important for us to democratize this knowledge, and we created pods of support folks who can handle complex issues. So in this growth phase, our learnings is predominantly moving towards a conversational support model, because in today's digital age, customers prefer messaging channels to reach out to support, as the effort they have to put in is very minimal, right? And take advantage of automations in routing volumes across channels to reduce the wait time. Also, if you're planning to expand your business for coverage, this would be the right time to do. And explore and implement tools to streamline communication and process, like access tools, communication tools. A good documentation tool like Confluence, Slack can be used to get this going, right? And invest in people. Identify people managers in your team, in the support org, and start developing them to step into the roles when needed. And also invest in operations, because forecasting and hiring is important. Tracking KPIs and setting specific goals for your agents is very important in this phase. And one other thing if you can do is hire an analyst to help you see how you can bring some order to this madness, because as the volume scales, it's really important to understand the reasons behind why the volume is increasing. So for the interest of this audience, right, I'll also touch upon our journey of self-service, where our goal was to set up a simple knowledge base, right? So until 2017, we always thought the best way to handle increase in volumes was to add more people, and we were continuously hiring, right? And this was also the time when we were launching new products, and the team needed to scale as well. But the constant increase in volumes always had us thinking, right? See, one of the options we have is to continuously scale the team. But if you think about it, right, the product and our customer base can and should grow. But that doesn't mean, we have to infinitely grow the support team as well. So it was becoming clear that we had to invest in, self-service initiatives, starting with setting up a simple knowledge base, right? So knowledge base is a very powerful medium, but in support or the support arc, it's always often neglected because we don't get to it ahead of time. So I'll talk you through the series of steps on how we approached this initiative, right? Step one was analyzing volumes and complexity. So we analyzed the volumes, and we did a further drill down to understand what were the type of tickets which we were spending time on, and found that 40%, right, of our incoming volume were L1s. So L1s are basic how-to questions on the product, and answers to most of these questions were simple, straightforward, short answers, right? And also we used to categorize or label all our incoming tickets. So we found that the top 3 categories were contributing to 80% of our volumes, right? This analysis gave us a starting point and direction on building the relevant content in our knowledge base. So we decided we need to have 2 types of content, right? One is the long form knowledge base articles to explain the functionality of the products in detail, and also FAQs, right, which are simple, straightforward, bite-sized answers for quick consumption of our customers, right? And also we decided we have to define a tone or a style guide for our articles to have consistency. So we started receiving feedback for the articles as soon as we were publishing them. And so we had to set up a check-in mechanism, right, to act on the feedback that our customers were giving on the knowledge-based articles, and also clean up activities, right, to keep our knowledge base up to date. Again, we use Freshtest, and Freshtest has an integrated knowledge base or a solutions module, and all our efforts in knowledge base was performed within our helpdesk solution. So step 2 was to measure and improve search experience, right? So setting up a knowledge base is not that complicated, right? It's relatively easy, but measuring effectiveness is, right? So you never know, the article you published, is actually helping or not until you start measuring and improving search in your support portal, and also improving search-based deflection. So we used to analyze what are the top searched keywords in our support portal, and we went through an activity of building relevant content for these search terms. And step 3 was to create a video library. We wanted to create videos for some of the most common features and for basic troubleshooting steps. See, video is a powerful medium for deflection. But to be honest, right, we haven't cracked this piece yet, right? And this is not an initiative, we got to, and this is something we will, plan this year as well. So this is our self-service goals, and this is how our journey towards self-service started. And let me also talk about, the importance of defining a structure, both for your knowledge base and also for your solution articles, right? So the key item to focus here is to decide how the articles are grouped together, right? Create a hierarchy and flow to how articles are ordered without adding too many levels of categorization, right? Customers will find it frustrating if they have to, click through more than 2 levels to find what they need. And, the whole purpose of this is to make it easy for readers to consume articles and also move between articles, right? Give users direction on the next article they should be reading, and also have a related article section. All of this will, help improve the consumption of self-service. It took us 5 months or even 6 months, right, for us to go over this process in 2017 to get to a minimal version of our knowledge base, right? And here are some of our learnings. So what we realized was, given a choice, most of our customers, were willing to fix their issues or find answers to their questions on their own. Our agents started sending out these knowledge-based articles in their responses, which also reduced the response time. Right? Guides and how-to manuals, for using certain features of your product are also a strong place to start. Additional information to consider including in your knowledge base can come from your service agents, because they deal with customer stay in and pay out, and they know what are the questions or topics they frequently answer. And also understand what features of your product has the highest learning curve, and that's where you should start with content. And videos is a great medium, so it will be good to start off with simple how-to videos on usage of your product, and also simple troubleshooting videos. Right? It doesn't have to be fancy. So the less time your staff is spending explaining how to use a feature, the more time they have to keep their response times down for more serious and complex issues. And the more information we give our users, the better the chances of deflecting and they answering their questions on their own. It's also important we optimize our knowledge base at least once a quarter. We learned it the hard way, because once we started adding content, the knowledge base constantly grew, and it became bloated, and we had to spend a month, right, cleaning up the relevant articles. So it's important to have a check-in mechanism where you look at feedback of the articles, clear your knowledge base, remove the unwanted ones, and always keep it relevant. So this is our growth phase, and I'll move on to the next stage, which we call the scale-up phase, right? So investing in knowledge base, if you ask me, was worth the effort, the 5 to 6 months we spent on it. because it helped us set ourselves up for the next phase of our support journey in the scale-up phase. So in 2018, right, the team had scaled, we had set processes in place, we were able to maintain good customer satisfaction scores and other key KPIs, right? A basic version of knowledge base was in place, and our self-service was constantly improving and helping with deflection to an extent. But the problem was the core of our volumes were coming in from chats, and we needed a medium that would take our content to our customers, because we weren't sure if just by putting content in the knowledge base was helping with deflection, right? So we asked ourselves, can we rely on basic automations and knowledge base to scale the support team, or is there a better way to address this problem, right? So this pushed us to think hard. And being a technology company, right, this was also the time when Freshworks was investing in AI and ML technologies. We acquired a few companies in this space, and talking to those founders and the ML teams, right, AI looked very promising in terms of the scope it had to offer for our customer support space. And that's how we started to kickstart our journey of bots. So for us at Freshworks, AI did not happen overnight. It was a gradual journey towards implementing AI and bot, because we wanted to deploy a bot which will help us handle this ever increasing volumes in chats. So we realized bots were an essential element for us to scale, and it can help us break the linear growth model with deflections and improving efficiency of the support team as well. So with bots, our goal was to take a shot at automating L1 support, right? Our primary aim was to deflect these redundant L1 tickets and free up the agent's time so that they can focus on more complex tasks. Right? We believe this would also help us provide faster responses to our customers. So what we did was we took a bot-first approach, where bots form the first line of defense with our customers, engaging in chat. And if it's unable to answer, right, it seamlessly hands off to an agent. And so when the agent takes on the chat, they have complete context on what the customer had asked for and what the bot had suggested. The idea was to keep it simple and let customers know upfront that they were interacting with the bot. So we deployed Freddy, which is our bot engine, and also the bot product, right? So we deployed Freddy, which is a bot in our chat channel. And we started with a very small segment of customers for us to understand how it was performing, so that we can iterate and expand to a larger base. So our learnings, right, from implementing the bot in customer support was focusing on content. So if you think about it, AI is only as good as the data it can learn from, right? So just by putting a bot doesn't mean it will start deflecting. So nurturing the bot with data and lots of feedback is the most crucial aspect for the bot or the ML engine to be successful and adopt itself to our business. So we spent close to like 6 to 7 months, because the product was in beta. We spent close to 7 months understanding what were the questions that the customers were asking the bot, right? And in this process, we realized customers, right, even though you put an article, customers were asking the same question in various different ways. And the challenge for the bot was to retrieve meaningful terms from the knowledge base, identify and provide the closest solution articles to the customers, right? To solve this, the bot needed human help. Right? So we identified owners within the support team to train the bot, because they are the closest to the customers and can help create the right content, right? So every day they would go through the list of unanswered questions for the bot, and they would either map the unanswered question to an existing article, or then create a new article and map the same. And it is not an easy process also, right? Because this requires full-time effort. For the first 1 year, we did not realize this. This was a side gig for us, an initiative that we wanted to do part-time. So we did not have dedicated full-time owners training the bot or focusing on content, which turned out to be a mistake or a learning experience, because we could have accelerated faster on this initiative with dedicated folks working on training the bot, right? So what we realized was, when we start measuring bot deflection metrics, right? The bot was only at 3% deflection when we started. But over the years, with constant nurturing, we were able to attain higher deflection rates, right? So we are now at a 10% actual deflection, meaning the bot deflects 10% of our inflow in chats. And this doesn't include drop-offs. So this 10% is basically the customers interacting with the bot and saying, hey, the answer the bot suggested helped me resolve my query, right? But not all customers shared feedback, and they drop off seeing an answer from the bot, right? So we aren't sure if the content the bot suggested had helped them resolve their queries, but they have chosen not to create a ticket or a chat with us either. So if we account drop-offs, we are at a 15% total deflection. So in a B2B support environment like ours, where our products are constantly evolving, right? 15 to 20% deflection is aspirational. And that is our goal, right? We want to get to that 15 or 20% deflection within the next 1 year. Whereas we have customers who are using Freddy in B2C space, right? For them, if you understand the workflow, right, it's getting easier for them to achieve 60 to 70% of deflection through bots. So one advice is, if you're in a B2C space, right, this is an effort worth investing in. So you can go through this process of analyzing your volume, coming up with the knowledge base articles, creating, flows for the bot. And once you implement the bot, you can see, the deflection go up over time. And what we also realized in this process is customers do have a learning curve, because initially our customers were a little skeptical about interacting with bot, because they were used to having conversations with live agents. But over a period of time, right, as they saw the accuracy of answers being improved, our customers realized the best way to get their simple queries answered instantly was by interacting with a bot. So this is a bot journey so far, and we have come a long way. This is almost like a 1.5 years of experiment, or even 2 years, right? I feel we are still scratching the surface and here, and there's so much of potential to unlock through bots. So moving on, in support, right? When you are in customer support space and you're dealing with fire all the time, initiatives like bots and self-service always take a backseat, right? And this happened to us as well. So we try to solve problems for our customers who are facing an issue at this moment, versus investing in probably strategic initiatives which will help us down the line, right? So what this journey with self-service and bots taught us was to look at the bigger picture, right? And focus on strategic initiatives that will help us break the linear growth, right? And also, this became an avenue for us to unlock new career paths for our support folks. So starting this year in Freshworks, we now have enabling functions within support with dedicated owners to focus on self-service and content strategy. Okay? And we have owners who work on bot content and bot training and bot strategy. Right? We also build tiers of support. Right? When your team scales, it is important to think about how different tiers of support, where complex issues are handled by an SME or a level 2 support team. We also have built a personalized support layer we call the technical account management org within support. Because as a customer base grew, right, one size fit all kind of a service did not work for everyone. Customers who were paying more expected a higher level of service. So they essentially, right, wouldn't want to interact with multiple folks in support. And they would want to have a single point of contact who understands their environment, so that they don't have to start over each time they come to support, right? So we felt we needed to form a different approach for such large, high-value accounts, and came up with this concept of technical account managers, right, whose primary responsibility would be to engage with high-value customers and provide a level of personalization in the support they offer. The most experienced people in support, we put them in this TAM are, and customers love interacting with our TAMs. So this is a takeaway, right? These are the functions you can build within support and new career opportunities you can create within the support arm. And outside of support, as our customer base grew rapidly, we also formed, a customer success function to take up adoption goals, right? Proactive reach outs, engagements through QBRs and EBRs, and health checks with our customers to mitigate churn. And the goal of CSM is expansion, and also identifying expansion opportunities and getting our customers successful. And we also found a pattern wherein accounts which had dedicated help during the initial stages of setup had greater product adoption and expansion and less churn. So we felt we needed to start a dedicated customer onboarding team to help with implementing and onboarding customers, right? So you can also build an engagement framework, right, where you mandate all new customers to go through a structured onboarding, which will help customers to efficiently set up the product with expert advice, and also save your support team from a lot of queries during the initial stages of the customer lifecycle. So this is about the enabling functions that we built within and outside of support. And in this phase, right, which we are currently in, right, our metrics also has evolved, and our focus shifted from tracking responses to tracking resolutions, right? So we started tracking total resolution time by level and by priority. We started tracking first contact resolution. We started tracking zero contact resolution, which is basically your deflections we talked about through bots, right, and self-service. The newest metric we are tracking right now is customer effort score, right? Customer support as an industry has evolved. And when I talk to my peers, right, mature companies have moved away from traditional metrics like CSAT to measuring loyalty and customer effort. So while CSATs help us measure the support experience for a particular interaction, it unfortunately does not give us any actionable insights, and it doesn't help us measure loyalty, right? Whereas customer effort score is a perception metric, and it can help us explore how much effort a customer feels they had to put in to resolve an issue. And this can be directly correlated to loyalty, right? So the lesser the effort the customer spends with our with our company, the more loyal they are. So from 2021, we have moved away from CSAT as a metric, and we have adopted customer effort score to measure our support experience. So we've also started tracking contact rate, which is basically a metric of how often customers are reaching out to support and why are they reaching out, right? It's a ratio of the total number of contacts to the number of customers, right? And most importantly, as the support grew, right, our focus, we are consistently focusing on our people and their careers, because they are our biggest asset in delivering the superior customer experience, right? So in my journey with Freshworks Support, right, most of my leadership team in support has been built from within organically, right, where they started as an agent and they moved on to become leads or managers and take up all these initiatives. They move on to customer success, they move on to onboarding, they even go on to product, right? So that's a culture we are very proud of. Just to summarize what we learned.
Just a quick one. We have a ton of questions flowing in, so and we're almost out of time. So if you can, yeah,
I'll wrap this up. Okay, so leaving it here, right? Start focusing on reducing customer effort, right, and implement bots and consciously work on improving deflections. So these are the takeaways. I'll just leave it here. And this is a quick summary, right? And on, what are the things you can focus on in different stages, if you're a startup company or a growth company or a scale-up stage. And leaving it here, the metrics for scale in each of these phases for quick consumption. So what I've shared today, right, is completely based on our experience in scaling the different product support teams. And I do agree that various different stages, there are different approaches we can definitely take. But this is more of a blueprint for us to, tell us where we can start. So for me, it has always been a journey of learning, right, and striving hard to understand what we can do to deliver that better experience in each of these stages. But I'd love to learn from your experiences as well. So thank you for having me on this webinar, and it was wonderful talking to you all. Thank you.
Chuck, thank you so much. This has been absolutely informative and fantastic. Again, if I was starting up now, I would probably really look at all of these and set up some kind of a customer support function just to be able to take off the pressure from the founding team, right? Like, because there's so much that keeps coming in. So thanks again, Chuck, for sharing all these and walking us through different stages of startup growth and how customer support works hand in hand to sort of help the company grow faster. There are so many questions, and that's I'm assuming that's a good thing. So let me start from the top. There is there a magic number or a specific situation that should trigger the hiring of a dedicated customer support person? So that's question number one.
Yeah. So see, it differs on your volume, right? So when we started, our magic number was somewhere around 200 tickets per rep, right? That's how we did our projections. But as we scaled, right, we baked in efficiencies, and then it became 225, then it became 250. So it depends on the volumes you receive and the growth you are projecting, right? Based on that, you can plan for your projections.
Got it.
So 185, you can start. That's a good number. I think 185 to 200.
Got it. And some kind of an understanding of how much time does it take for an agent to resolve a ticket. So that would help.
Yep.
So, got it. Question number two, Chuck, do you have thoughts on specialized customer support agents? Example, agent focuses on a specific category or issue, and so that they're well versed in this type of in a certain type of issue.
Yes, that's the tier of support we talked about, right? So as our team scaled, right, so we were bombarding our engineering teams, and there was a stage when we really had to put in processes like Jira, where a ticket flows in through Jira, right? So we have a specialized team we call the L2 support team, and each of the team member or a couple of team members specializes on a particular area. So for us, it can be SSO or email, configurations and so on. We make these folks work very closely with engineering, with shadow engineering, so that they can also, learn the ropes of doing that high-level troubleshooting as well. So that's definitely a way to go as your team scales.
Got it. What's a good measure of customer support performance for a small company? We already talked about this. So, Chuck has also shared the different metrics of scale, which is, through startup, growth phase, and, metrics as you scale up. So I'm just going to skip this question in the interest of time. Any basic automation suggestion for a small startup company?
It depends on your channels, right? So, so if you're doing email, you can either do a round robin ticket assignment, or if you have specialized people working on certain skills, right, you can do skill based on that, right? Our chats also, if you're opening up chat, you have this internally assigned functionality which routes chat to the idle agent. Similarly with calls. So with startup program, right, you have the package, go for this omni-channel package, right? And the product will help you efficiently route all these.
Got it. And I just want to stress that, especially in the early days, automation is like a big deal, like, because, obviously you want to tackle the easy ones really fast and, move on to the harder ones, right? Like,
so we call it cherry picking and support. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Chuck, another question, which is, you talked about proactive hiring and staffing. Can you talk a little bit more about that? What are the best practices that you use to forecast, how much you should hire, what's the utilization rate, and etc. And make sure that you're not overstaffed or understaffed.
In support, you can never be overstaffed, right? So because if you have to focus on all these knowledge base and activities, it needs that focus. But as suggested, we look at the contact rate, right? So how frequently are customers reaching out to support? That's one metric we look at, and we look at the current volumes we are handling and how much the rep is able to handle, and then we project, for the next year based on the growth we are projecting with our customer base, which will help you arrive at the ideal number of people you should hire. So that's how we go with the hiring process projections.
Got it. How do you measure CES? A different set of forms sent to client along with CSAT. This is from Anne Salve from the audience.
Yeah, we experimented with both. We did a CSAT survey after every closure, and we also did an effort question. But then we realized that we need not do both, right? So we just asked the effort question now. So we just asked them, right? Did Freshworks make it easy for you to get the help you needed, right? And it's a 5-point scale. The customer rates you on, and this is helping us uncover, the areas of high effort for our customers, right? For example, if there is a billing issue they are going through, right? If they are being tossed around different functions within Freshworks, all of these are coming out in this effort question. Otherwise, if you're rating your agent, it's for that agent, right? Or for that experience. But when you do it as an effort, it is like NPS, right? It gives you that vision on what your customers are actually feeling. So you can do both, or you can pick just the effort and stick to effort.
So there's another great question, which is what are the similarities or differences between setting up a customer support for a product versus service type of business?
In service, I'm assuming it becomes like a project, right? Where you measure time and billing and all that, right? Whereas in product, it's more about handling the customer's queries, working with the product, and solving the problems with the product. So that's the major difference I'm able to think of.
Yeah, I guess absolutely. Service businesses are more time and material based and contracts rather than and sometimes maybe fixed outcome contracts, but mostly time and material based.
What about billing?
Yeah, absolutely. That's another great question, which is, do you recommend to have specific support personnel per product?
Yes, because that's how we do it. Because in support, right, you need that depth, and you build that depth as you work through your customers' issues, right, and solve them. So we do it by product. But we also make it a point, at least if it's a suite of product, right? We train them across the adjacent products so that they are able to handle the queries as well.
Got it. That's another really good question, which is on attrition. This is a problem which most support functions face, and in Freshworks, we have scaled from a handful of employees to 250, employees in support. What was your experience like? What are some of the things that worked for us in reducing attrition as well as sort of delivering great customer experience?
Yes, great question, and this is a challenge every support leader goes through, right? So, I think, like I mentioned, right, the whole focus on building all these enabling functions, right, building a technical account management or building a content or a knowledge-based team, right, or building different levels of support. All of this, came in when our people really wanted to evolve, right? Because we had to show them career paths in what they are good at, right? So if they can move on to become people managers within support, or if they think, right, they have to, if their, strength is different. So if talking to your customers or holding that relationship is different, then they move on to customer success and such. Right? So one of the things we did is we hire people right out of college. We are very heavy on hiring freshers, right? And they go through this process with us for 3 to 4 years, and then if they realize they want to move out and do something else, we encourage that. But we have a lot of folks who've grown along with us in the support who are in managerial roles as well. So attrition will be there. I think you have to get used to the fact that people will move out and hire accordingly. But also make sure we challenge our folks and keep them engaged so that they are with us as well.
Got it. I have a follow-up question, but before that, anybody in the audience, if you have more questions, feel free to post it in the group, in the chat window. We have a few more minutes before we end this discussion. So go ahead and do that. Chuck, is it important to have a bunch of sort of career options within the company for folks who've been there for a few years? And then, because starting in support really gives you that empathy towards customers. So, going into product, going into, product marketing and other functions, right? Like, has that been our experience as well?
That has been, right? So if given a choice, we would love to retain our folks as much as we can, right? But we have more people to different functions, right? Different areas of the product, right? They've gone to become program managers, product managers. And the first person who was working on this bot initiative and building content has moved to product management. Right? So we've enabled that. And, it's always about showing them the career path, keeping them challenged, right? And then whatever works best for our employees, we do that. Our attrition is not that bad, right? Maybe given a product company, I think we are good. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So I guess there are no more questions. This has been great. Chuck, thank you so much for taking the time out, and thank you.
Thank you, because it's the questions are great questions, and right from effort and all that, right? It took me a lot of while to understand also. So great questions. Thanks to the folks here.
Awesome. And if any of you want to reach out to us, feel free to write to us. There's a link in the chat window. And if you would like to use any of our products for free, we have a program called Freshworks for Startups. We'd not only help you, try our products, and you can use it for a while. And we'll also help you with onboarding. We have white glove onboarding for startup customers, so that you're able to quickly start streamlining your processes and all of your customer support needs. And this has been amazing. You've been a great audience. Thank you, E27, for organizing this. Feel free to write to us. There's another episode coming up very soon, so stay tuned for that as well. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, E27. Thank you. I'll take care.